You cannot expect to maybe write down a couple of things and start thinking a little bit differently and then expect for everything to show up instantaneously. Sometimes there's work that we need to keep doing in order for the changes to actually show up in our lives.
Who's that girl? That's me. I'm on fire. I'm a hot girl. I'm a hot girl. I get anything I want. This is my world. I make big moves in my big heels. Since the day that I was born, I've been a big deal.
Let's do this. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Main Character Manifesto. I am so happy you are here. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I just want you to get comfortable, get cozy. It doesn't matter if you're driving somewhere or if you're at home cooking or cleaning. That's literally one of my favorite times to turn on a podcast, when I'm doing something around the house. If I'm putting laundry away, or I'm cooking, or I'm cleaning, or putting the groceries away, it's one of my favorite things to do, to listen to a podcast and get lost in the message that the podcast is going to give me, whether it's an audiobook or a podcast. I am all about it. Thanks again for joining, and let's get started. I have taken the time to curate the episode topics so that they are working off of each other. In today's episode, we are talking about rebranding your life. Now, if we think about the last two episodes, the first episode, we're talking about energetics, right? So what is the energy that the best version of yourself needs to have so that you can actually take the actions to become that person? In the second episode, we talked about what are some of the actionable steps and some of the things that you need to focus on and some of the things that you need to become aware of so that you can start stepping into your rebuilding era, rebranding era. And today, we're going to go deeper into what it actually means to rebrand your life. This is the ultimate rebuilding era. And this era could be for 1 year, it could be for 2 years. It really depends what you're looking for, what your goals are, and where you want to be. The beautiful thing about life is that you can reinvent yourself as many times as you want. My goal for my social media platforms and for my podcast is to be able to guide and provide as much free information that I can. The reason that I am here today is because of creators and authors and so many people that I look up to, that I learned from, that led me to finally decide to become a certified life coach. Becoming a life coach, yes, has helped me and has allowed me to learn the tools that I needed to finally get through some of the things that in the past I hadn't been able to get through. So now my goal is to be able to pay it forward, just like so many other people that I have learned from in the past did it for me. And it makes me so happy that I'm able to be in this place where now I can be the one providing the knowledge and providing the support and helping others find their way to becoming the best version of themselves and obtaining and achieving all of the goals and desires that they have always wanted to achieve. So if this is your first episode that you're listening to, I highly recommend that you go back to episodes and really learn about the different stages that it takes to actually become that person that you've been wanting to become. And one of them is awareness. With awareness, you're able to look at your life and think about what are the things you want to keep and what are the things you want to take away, because that allows you to make decisions so that you know in what direction you need to move forward next. The great thing about that is that once you have the clarity of awareness, then you know what you need to do and you can start taking the steps to moving in that direction. So before we acknowledge that we may have negative thoughts that are holding us back from achieving the things that we want. Sometimes what happens is we don't even know that we have these negative thoughts about a certain thing. I think a great example is how we view our money. Money is attached to so many different areas of our lives that we don't even realize what is going on. And these beliefs are passed down from generation to generation. Let's say you want to work on rebranding your finances. If you want to rebrand your finances, then you need to think about, how do I feel around money? Do I feel like there's abundant money in my life? Do I feel like money is hard to get? How do my parents feel about money? How did I feel growing up about money? The energetics around money and how you feel about money is insane. Literally, talking about money mindset is like a whole other episode that I can absolutely go into later. Today will be more of an overview so that we can think about and acknowledge our thoughts and how they are affecting us in different areas of our lives. So thinking about how your thoughts affect your money, we can also apply that to success or to career or to relationships. Maybe you keep dating the same person where they don't value you. Maybe they don't text you back. They don't put the effort in. And it's just feeling like the other person is not matching your energy. The crazy thing is that is exactly what's happening. They're matching your energy. You have to stop and take a look inward. How are you talking to yourself? How are you showing up for yourself? How are you thinking about yourself? What boundaries are you putting so that there's respect between the two of you? If you really sit down and you start to dissect how you show up in the relationship and what are the things that you are allowing to happen, your mind would be blown away. This has been the biggest eye opener personally for me. I have realized that just because I'm showing up and I'm giving them everything that I want doesn't mean that they're going to give it to you first, right? I think a lot of women get that wrong. We want somebody to love us the same way that we love them, but that's not the reality. And actually, not everybody loves the same way. If you haven't looked into attachment style and love languages, I highly recommend that if you're looking to rebrand your love life, you should definitely do some research and some homework on what your attachment style is and what your love language is, because that'll give you such a huge insight on what your needs are and also what your partner's needs are. I think having that clear communication from the beginning of what the expectations are is such a game changer. I also think that a lot of women already come in just expecting so much out of the relationship before even knowing if you like the dude. Like, what are we actually even doing? Women are so fast to just look at the checkbox, to just look at the list, right? I mean, can I get a hand for how many women have had a list of requirements of what they're looking for in a man? I mean, I definitely have been one of those women. Now I look at this so much differently. Yes, I still have a list, but it's completely different. It's more like qualities. Do we share the same values? What kind of person should this be? It's not like, okay, he should be this and this and this as far as like accomplishments or material things or where they should be in their life. It's more like, how are they going to fit into my life? Are they family oriented? Do they have a growth mindset? What's their communication style? How are they a kind person? How do they show up for themselves? Because that is so important. Once you've actually done the work and once you love and value yourself and you have these boundaries, you want that person to also have those healthy boundaries. You want that person to also have a separate life besides the ones that you guys have together, because that allows you guys to have this beautiful, fulfilling life on your own, and then you can have a beautiful life together. It's absolutely not healthy to only have your life revolve around each other. Like, that's just not going to be healthy long term. And don't get me wrong, I am absolutely pro marriage and long relationship and building something together. But I definitely have seen how much more impactful and how much more balanced relationships are when both parties have their own life, their own friends. They invest time apart so that they can invest time together. It just takes a lot of pressure. I mean, think about it. How much pressure does one person have to be the one thing, the one person that makes this other person completely happy? That's wild. That's so much pressure. And I definitely don't think that it works. I can't exactly remember who said it, but they said, make a list of all of the qualities that you want in a partner and then become that list. I really, truly loved that, because it really shines a light into all of the things that you are doing or maybe you aren't doing. I really think that's a great start to really audit all of the things that you want in a partner, and then sit back and see, like, how am I fitting into that list and how am I showing up for myself? What are my thoughts about speaking up and handling conflict? How do I communicate? Am I avoidant? Do I avoid conflict? Do I like to talk about it? All of these things are going to set you up so that you can start attracting the person that is going to be meant for you. And I can honestly say that this is something that I am actively implementing in my own life. I have been single by choice for over a year. I really wanted to take the time and learn about myself and think about what my part was in my last relationships and how could I change for the better. If I had a list of all of the qualities that I wanted to find in my partner, in my soulmate, then what can I do and how can I shift my mindset and so that I can attract the person that is meant for me? So listen, over here, we are practicing what we preach. I haven't necessarily done like a hard launch back into the dating scene, but I'm excited. I'm actually really interested to see how the dating world will be now that I have this different type of mindset where I know how to set boundaries. I know how to identify what kind of energy someone's bringing to the table, and I know that I can walk away at any point. Before, I feel like it was so terrifying. I was so focused in just making something work that I hadn't even stopped to think about, is this even what I want? Now think about that for a second. We live our life just wanting things to happen because we think that's what we should want. But once we get it, we work so hard to keep it. And sometimes it's not even a right fit. Like we know deep down inside, this isn't working. This isn't what I wanted. But because it's already there and we're so scared of the unknown and we're so scared to walk away that we rather stay with something that we have versus let it go and just let the universe give us something better. So let's not be like that. Let's shift our mindset so that we can start. It's almost like when you do a spring cleaning, you start to get rid of all of the things that you don't want so that you can create space for something new. And sometimes it feels so much better to just have those little empty spaces. It just gives you more room to breathe. Why do you think when you go to maybe like an Airbnb or a hotel, when you walk in, it feels so relaxing, everything's in order, and it just feels so nice because there's no clutter? What if you could just declutter your life, declutter your mind, declutter your thoughts? Imagine how amazing that would feel. That literally makes me want to just take like a deep breath because the thought of a decluttered life sounds so wonderful. So let's do it. Let's declutter. Let's get rid of things that we don't need so that we can start moving forward. Like I said, really digging deep into the different areas of your life and how your thoughts and beliefs are acting in that area of your life is so important. I do have a free PDF that you can download. It's in the show notes, and there's a ton of questions. Like if you're thinking like, well, I kind of know that I want to change, but I don't know what area and I don't have clarity, just download the PDF, fill it out. There's a lot of questions that'll guide you and it'll give you so much clarity in where you are and where you want to be. And then that way you can start making decisions of, okay, now I get it. I think I didn't even know that I was lacking in this area. And so maybe I'm going to start that one because that one just seems easier, right? So sometimes taking the easiest one and taking that off, it just gives you a little bit of confidence and it helps you so that you can start moving forward. That's one of the tips that I always tell my clients when they come to me and they're like, okay, I want to work on this and I want to work on this and I want to work on this, but I feel so overwhelmed and I don't know what direction to take. I just tell them, okay, let's take a deep breath. It's okay. The thing is, you do not have to work on everything at the same time. We're going to take it one step at a time, one thought at a time. Let's just sit back and decide. Let's say that you want to work on your health and that's the direction that you want to go. If you never go to the gym, you're not going to all of a sudden go 7 days a week, start lifting as heavy as you can and do a super drastic diet. That's just not going to work and it's not sustainable for the long run. So what you need to do is step back, feel. What are you feeling? You're going to feel a lot of resistance, first of all. That's what's going to happen. You're going to feel like you just want to quit and like this is wrong because it feels uncomfortable. But that feeling of being uncomfortable is exactly what you need to feel so that you can keep moving forward. So when we decide, okay, I'm going to make a change, audit how you're feeling. And I highly, highly recommend that you write down exactly what you're feeling so that you can start rewiring your mindset and changing your beliefs so that you can start moving forward with a new mindset. That's literally the steps that it takes. So here you are, you've audited your life, you've figured out, okay, these are the areas that I feel really uncomfortable in. These are the areas, maybe this is the area that feels a little safer, a little easier. I'm very scared, so I'm going to go with the easiest one. Or maybe you want to go with the one that you want to get the most bang for your buck, the most change. That's fine. You're going to choose your adventure and then we're going to move forward. Now, you have to realize that this is gonna be a season of change. There is gonna have to be some compromises. There is gonna have to be some things that you have to give up in order to work in one area fully. I think one of the books that I love the most, and I will absolutely do a podcast episode on this book because I think it's literal gold. It's called The One Thing. If you think about your day when you wake up in the morning, and if you think about what is the one thing that I could do today that would make my life better and get me closer to my goal. Now, the book actually breaks it down further, and there's a lot of other things that tie into it. But to simplify, let's just say you wake up in the morning, you already have decided what direction you're going to go in whatever area of your life for your life rebrand, whether you're rebranding your finances, you're rebranding your fitness, you're rebranding your love life, you're rebranding your career. What is the one thing that you could do that day that would get you closer to your goal? Setting that intention as soon as you wake up in the morning is crucial. And starting off with a positive mindset has been proven to completely shift the outcome of the rest of your day. Let me just tell you, it's a game changer. I still struggle with this. And I'm not going to lie, I still definitely struggle with this. One of the things that I haven't been doing that I used to do in the past, and I will absolutely reincorporate it back into my life, is putting my phone in a separate room so that it charges there. And that reminds me that at least for the first 15 to 20 minutes, you should not be on your phone. You should wake up, maybe go to the bathroom, drink a glass of water. It allows you to start waking up and getting that energy moving so that you can start thinking about your day and you can start thinking about your intentions for the day. If you start doing that, even within the first 5 to 10 to 15 minutes of waking up, you're going to notice a huge shift in your energy and how you feel for the rest of the day. You're going to start to make better decisions for the rest of your day, and it's going to be a domino effect. I highly, highly encourage this. So why don't we do this together? Let's start putting our phone not by our bed, maybe in the bathroom or on the other side of the room, so that you actually have to get out of bed. Maybe that's your alarm. Or you just have to get out of bed to go to the bathroom. And then that allows you to start waking up so that you can start thinking about what your intention for the day is. I'm definitely going to do it. If you start doing it, tag me on Instagram and we can keep each other accountable. During this time of your life, you have to have patience. You have to understand that it all depends on how fast you are rewiring your life. That is how the rebrand is going to show up. You cannot expect to maybe write down a couple of things and start thinking a little bit differently and then expect for everything to show up instantaneously. Sometimes there's work that we need to keep doing in order for the changes to actually show up in our lives, especially when you are really doing the work, you're showing up every day, you are making the changes that you need to make. We expect things to change and to show up instantly, but it's like working out. Yes, it takes so much longer to lose the weight than it does to gain it. Think about it that way. You have to be patient. You have to show up every day. You have to fall in love with the process instead of just waiting for the result. The more you wait for the result, the less the result will show up. So you actually have to just change it and keep going. You have to trust the process. This is literally something that my personal trainer keeps telling me over and over again. I keep saying like, hey, what about this? And he's like, cool, follow the plan. Literally, okay, Layla Hermosi, fuck your mood, follow the plan. That is literally the best advice anybody could ever give you. Forget about how you're feeling. Forget what people are telling you. Just follow the plan. If you know where you want to go, just stick to it. So many people start something new that they feel so passionate about, but because they don't see the results right away, they give up. And little did they know that they were about to have the biggest breakthrough. So don't get frustrated. Have some patience. Understand that change takes time and that if you stick with the plan, it will show up for you. Another thing is that a lot of people think that because they don't have evidence of things changing, that it's not working. But a lot of the times, the change is something that we can't see yet. And it will almost feel like it happened all of a sudden. So don't get discouraged. Have some faith. Have some patience. Follow the plan. And you will absolutely make it to the finish line. And the funny thing is, when it comes to personal development and leveling up and rebranding yourself, you're going to realize that you're not going to want to stop. If you got to a certain level and you're leveling up, you're going to be like, all right, this is cool. How can I get to the next spot and the next level and the next level? So this process that you just went through, you might keep doing over and over for the rest of your life because you're going to keep having breakthroughs. You're going to keep moving forward. You're going to want to keep expanding and growing and learning. And that's a beautiful thing. Can you imagine if all of the humans in this earth were actively working on themselves to show up as the best versions of themselves? Can you imagine how wonderful the world would be? I mean, I think it would be beautiful. We would be such great role models for the kids in our lives, for everybody. It would be so great. So just keep in mind that this is a season of your life and there will be ups and downs, but you will get through it. And then eventually the cycle will start all over again. But because you went through it already, you will be so excited to go through it all over again because now you know that you can get results and it makes you so much more excited to keep going. Let's wrap up this episode. I truly love talking about all things rebranding, leveling up. And it's so great to start seeing people actually make the decisions to move forward and change their lives. I know that my journey has been super exciting for me. It has completely changed who I am. I literally was having a conversation with my sister this morning and she was like, we were talking about a certain topic and she said like, wow, you literally would have done something totally different in that situation. I definitely see a change in you. And I have absolutely seen a change in myself. I've even had some of my salon clients come into the salon and look at me and be like, what's different about you? I think something's different. Like, I can't tell. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't do anything different. But I just feel like you start looking different. You start talking different. You start thinking different. So I do feel like there's a certain type of inner glow that happens when you start to feel good and you start to work on yourself and you really start showing up for yourself. It really does make a big difference. So I'm so excited to be right alongside you and help you through your glow up. And if you need any support at any time, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me or you can message me on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. And I hope that your takeaway today is to really start to audit your life. Think about what area of your life you would like a little improvement on, and then start to write down what you think those steps are. Or even if you start to catch yourself with negative thoughts or feelings about certain things, take that awareness, take 5 minutes, write it down, and just start reflecting on how you can shift that so that you can show up differently for yourself. Like I mentioned before, you can always download my free workbook. If you feel like you need a little extra support, you can DM me. And I'm so excited to see you in next week's episode. Thank you so much for keeping me company. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode and that you were able to take something valuable away from today. Like I said, I would love for you to rate, review, subscribe. And if you want to go the extra mile, take a screenshot and tag me. Let me know you're listening. That would be so amazing. And I can't wait to chat with you next week. Bye.